Amanda Blake was a famous actress who people loved for playing Miss Kitty on the old TV show Gunsmoke. But behind her warm smile and all the fans who adored her, Amanda had some strong feelings that not many people knew about. Hollywood, with all its sparkle and fake friendliness, had really bothered her. After she left Gunsmoke when the show was in its 19th season, Amanda's life got quieter and she stayed away from the cameras. But the angry feelings she had towards some stars never went away. While many people thought she died because of mouth cancer from smoking cigarettes, the real story was much more complicated and surprising. In the years before she died, Amanda spoke her mind clearly. She bravely told people about the 5 stars she really disliked, showing everyone the hidden fights, secret angry feelings, and the mean tensions that were hiding behind Hollywood's fancy image. This is the surprising story of the stars Amanda Blake couldn't stand, and why she wanted everyone to know. But before we start, if you are a fan of Gunsmoke and Amanda Blake, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Amanda Blake, who was born with the name Beverly Louise Neal on February 20th, 1929 in Buffalo, New York, grew up far away from the fancy lights of Hollywood. Her family moved later to Claremont, California, where young Amanda's love for acting started to grow. Surrounded by support and love, she grew up in a home that helped her be creative and confident. From when she was very young, she also showed a big love for animals, something she cared about her whole life and that made her want to help animals and nature later on. As a student, Amanda was a natural at performing. She happily joined in school plays and local theater shows, finding happiness in playing different characters. Those early times not only helped her get better at acting, but also gave her what she needed to go after her Hollywood dreams. By the late 1940s, her big goals led her to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, one of the most powerful movie studios back then. MGM was home to some of the most glamorous actresses of that time, including the legendary Greer Garson. Studio bosses often signed new young people to take the place of their famous stars, and Amanda was brought in as someone who might replace Greer Garson. It was a normal Hollywood thing back then. Young actors would be shaped to look like certain star images, their careers carefully controlled by the studios. But Amanda was never someone to stay in anyone's shadow. Starting with small roles, and sometimes roles where her name wasn't even mentioned, she worked really hard to show what she could do. Her hard work paid off when she got the role that would make her famous, Miss Kitty Russell in Gunsmoke. With her grace, strength, and charm that no one could ignore, Amanda Blake turned what started as a studio test into something people would always remember, making sure she had a place as one of TV's most loved stars. Amanda Blake's career took an amazing turn when she got the role that would make her famous, Miss Kitty Russell in the popular TV series Gunsmoke, which started in 1955. Her way of playing the tough but kind-hearted saloon owner was really ahead of its time, showing audiences something rare, a strong and independent woman on television when those kinds of roles almost never existed. For 19 of the show's 20 amazing seasons, Blake made viewers fall in love with her charm, grace, and quiet strength, earning not only praise from critics, but also a special place in the hearts of millions. Set in the rough town of Dodge City, Kansas, during the early days of the American West, Gunsmoke followed the lives of town people fighting both crime and trying to survive. As the owner of the Long Branch Saloon, Miss Kitty wasn't just another character. She was the heart of Dodge City, often helping as a friend, advisor, and someone who gave emotional support to Marshal Matt Dillon, played by James Arness. She added deeper feelings and humanity to the show's frontier drama. Blake's performance made Miss Kitty more than just a TV character. She became a symbol of being strong, caring, and having quiet strength. One of the most famous women ever to appear on the small screen. In the years before she died, Amanda spoke her mind clearly. She bravely told people about the 5 stars she really disliked, showing everyone the hidden fights, secret angry feelings, and the mean tensions that were hiding behind Hollywood's fancy image. This is the surprising story of the stars Amanda Blake couldn't stand. Number 1. Milburn Stone. Milburn Stone, who played Doc Adams, was a respected veteran of Gunsmoke. At first, Amanda Blake felt a little overshadowed by how important he was on the show. At first, I had my frustrations with Milburn. "He got third billing, and I wanted it," she once said. Stone's calm and disciplined way of working sometimes didn't match with Blake's energetic and expressive personality, causing small arguments on set. Over time, though, Blake started to appreciate his professional behavior and wisdom. Stone became like a teacher to her, giving advice about dealing with long hours, difficult scenes, and the stress of being famous. What started as friction slowly grew into respect for each other and friendship. Their relationship turned into one of the most supportive partnerships on set, a reminder that first impressions in Hollywood don't always stay the same. Number 2, James Arness. James Arness, who played Marshal Matt Dillon, was the main person of Gunsmoke. While their characters had romantic tension, Blake and Arness had different ways of working. Arness was often quiet and kept to himself, while Blake was lively and expressive. Their different ways sometimes led to disagreements, especially when Blake wanted more depth for her character. Despite these occasional tensions, the two shared a deep professional respect. They learned to work around each other's styles, creating chemistry on screen that became legendary. Blake later said that Arness's dedication to the show was inspiring, even if their personalities didn't always match perfectly off-camera. Their relationship shows how working together often needs compromise and patience. Number 3, Burt Reynolds. Before becoming a household name, Burt Reynolds appeared in a few Gunsmoke episodes. Blake found Reynolds confident, sometimes a little too much for her taste, but she also saw his potential. His bold energy and way of making things up during scenes could be challenging during practice, especially for a cast used to a more planned approach. Blake, who valued being professional and precise, sometimes found it hard to adjust. Yet she never said he wasn't talented and charming, which would later make him a Hollywood icon. Looking back, Reynolds' early behavior seems less like being full of himself and more like a young actor testing things out in a high-pressure situation. Blake's thoughts give us a look into the early interactions of Hollywood stars still figuring things out. Number 4, Bette Davis. Bette Davis, one of Hollywood's most intense and celebrated actresses, appeared briefly on Gunsmoke. Blake found Davis's commanding presence a little overwhelming at first. Two strong personalities working together naturally led to moments of tension, especially during scene direction and timing. However, these clashes were professional rather than personal. Blake later said she admired Davis's skill and dedication. Their brief meetings show how two powerful performers can create friction, even while working toward the same artistic goal. Blake's thoughts show respect for Davis's craft while acknowledging the challenges of sharing the spotlight with such a forceful talent. Number 5, Ken Curtis. Ken Curtis, who played Festus Hagen on Gunsmoke, was beloved for his humor and charisma. Blake sometimes found his way of making things up a little disruptive when she was focused on giving a precise performance. Curtis's loud personality didn't match with Blake's disciplined approach, leading to occasional behind-the-scenes adjustments. Still, Blake admired Curtis's comedic timing and the warmth he brought to the show. Their occasional disagreements never overshadowed the friendship and togetherness that grew over the years of working together. Blake's thoughts highlight the human side of Hollywood teamwork. Moments of challenge, yes, but also of helping each other and appreciation. When Amanda Blake announced she was leaving Gunsmoke after its 19th season, it sent a wave of sadness through millions of fans who had grown up watching her every week. For nearly 20 years, Amanda had played the role of Miss Kitty Russell, the bold, sharp-witted owner of the Long Branch Saloon, who wasn't afraid to stand her ground in a man's world. To audiences, she wasn't just another character. She was the heart and soul of Dodge City. When Amanda walked away, it felt like the spirit of Gunsmoke walked away with her. The series struggled through one final season without her before coming to an end, proving that Gunsmoke just couldn't last without Amanda Blake. Miss Kitty was a character unlike any other on television at the time. She was tough but kind, confident yet compassionate, and she carried herself with a quiet strength that made her instantly unforgettable. Fans admired her courage and independence, qualities that showed Amanda's real-life personality as well. But what truly made the show special was her undeniable chemistry with Marshal Matt Dillon, played by James Arness. The two shared a bond that was more than friendship, but less than romance. A subtle tension that kept viewers hooked for years. Every time Amanda and James shared a scene, it felt as though time stopped in Dodge City. By the time Amanda decided to leave, she had already appeared in more than 500 episodes, becoming one of the most recognizable faces in television history. But behind her warm smile and strong performances, she had grown tired of the same routine. After nearly 2 decades of early wake-up times, long shooting days, and playing the same role over and over, Amanda felt it was time to turn the page and find peace beyond the cameras. After filming her final episode, she packed up her life and moved to her ranch home in Phoenix, Arizona. Away from the Hollywood spotlight, she found a new kind of happiness, one filled with quiet mornings, open skies, and the company of the animals she loved. Amanda had always been passionate about wildlife and animal welfare, and now she finally had the time to give herself fully to that love. Financially secure from her long run on Gunsmoke, she no longer needed to chase roles or fame. Instead, she chose to live life on her own terms, peaceful, content, and surrounded by the creatures she cared for deeply. Amanda Blake had spent nearly 2 decades giving her heart to the world as Miss Kitty, and when she finally stepped away, she gave her heart back to herself. In many ways, that was her greatest victory. Amanda Blake, best known for her role on Gunsmoke, was not only a talented actress, but also a woman with a deep and extraordinary love for animals. From a young age, she felt a special connection to all creatures, and over time, her passion grew into something truly remarkable. Her love for animals often made headlines, like the time she brought her pet lion to the Gunsmoke set, a story that amazed and surprised fans. But Amanda's commitment to animals went far beyond a single lion or unusual headlines. Amanda and her third husband, Frank Gilbert, whom she was married to from 1967 to 1982, shared her love for wildlife. Together, they cared for several cheetahs and even ran an experimental cheetah breeding program at their home. Amazingly, this program became a success. They were among the first people to breed cheetahs successfully when kept in captivity, raising 7 generations of these rare animals. This achievement wasn't just about fascination. It showed Amanda's genuine care and desire to protect endangered species. Although some might think keeping cheetahs at home shows a lack of concern for their safety, Amanda's actions came from compassion. She was a vocal advocate for animal rights and dedicated much of her life to making the lives of animals everywhere better. She helped start the Arizona Animal Welfare League, which remains Arizona's largest and oldest no-kill shelter, saving countless animals over the years. Amanda also helped fund the Performing Animal Welfare Society, PAWS, in 1985, spending many of her later years supporting this organization, which still protects animals today. Amanda's devotion did not go unnoticed. In 1984, she was honored with the Courage Award by the Humane Society of the United States for her outstanding work in animal rights. The award was personally given to her by President Ronald Reagan, showing how much the whole nation recognized her efforts. Tragically, Amanda Blake passed away in 1989. While her death marked the end of her life, her legacy continued to grow. In 1997, the Amanda Blake Memorial Wildlife Refuge was created in Harold, California. The refuge serves as a safe place for exotic African animals living in the United States, many of which had been moved from their homes or illegally taken. Thanks to Amanda's vision and passion, these animals found a safe home where they could live free and protected. Throughout her life, Amanda Blake showed that her love for animals was more than a hobby. It was a mission. From her groundbreaking work breeding cheetahs to helping start organizations that continue to save countless lives, Amanda's dedication to animal welfare was extraordinary. She remains an inspiring example of how one person's passion and commitment can make a lasting difference for the natural world. Amanda Blake, the beloved star best known for her role on Gunsmoke, was only 60 years old when she passed away on August 16, 1989. At first, fans were told that the cause of her death was oral cancer, a disease Amanda had fought in the 1970s. She had been a longtime smoker, and in 1977, just a few years after leaving Gunsmoke, she had surgery to treat oral cancer. Because of this history, the public naturally thought that oral cancer had taken her life, but the truth was far more private and far more shocking. Amanda had chosen to keep the real cause of her death a secret, telling it only to her closest friends. Despite her personal struggles, she remained deeply committed to the causes she cared about, especially animal welfare. When she passed, Amanda left her entire estate to PAWS, the Animal Protection Foundation she had given much of her energy to in her final years. Her generosity showed her lifelong passion for animals, though not everyone in her family agreed with her decision. When Amanda's relatives learned she had left her fortune to PAWS, some fought against her will, saying she was not thinking clearly and trying to claim the inheritance for themselves. It was during this legal battle that the true circumstances surrounding her death came to light. In reality, Amanda Blake had been living with AIDS, and her death was the result of liver failure caused by the disease. This revelation made her one of the earliest high-profile Hollywood stars to die from AIDS, alongside figures like Rock Hudson. At the time, AIDS was still a highly stigmatized and poorly understood illness, which explains why Amanda had kept her diagnosis private. She had learned of her AIDS diagnosis a year before her passing. According to those closest to her, Amanda faced the news with remarkable courage and optimism. Even in her final days, she remained determined and hopeful. Her agent later recalled that one of her last requests was for him to help her find a new role in Hollywood. Although her career had slowed in later years, Amanda's spirit and drive to work again remained strong, showing a strength that made fans love her both on and off the screen. Amanda Blake's story is not just about the life she lived on television. It is about her courage, her compassion, and the quiet strength she kept in the face of a terrible illness. Her legacy lives on, not only in her memorable performances, but also in the charitable work she passionately supported until her final days. Amanda Blake, best known for her iconic role on Gunsmoke, tragically passed away due to complications from AIDS. However, the exact way she got the disease remains a mystery. Throughout her life, Amanda married 4 times, but she was never publicly known for having many sexual partners. She also had no reported history of drug use that might have put her at risk. Interestingly, her 4th husband, Mark Spaeth, also died from AIDS. The couple had married in 1984, but Mark passed away just a year later. While some might think Amanda got AIDS from Mark, many experts believe it could have been the other way around. Mark may have gotten the disease from Amanda. A widely discussed theory suggests that Amanda may have been exposed to the virus during her humanitarian work in Africa, where she often traveled to support wildlife and conservation efforts. Amanda received her AIDS diagnosis just a year before her death in 1989. Yet, she refused to let it define her final days. Even while fighting the illness, she remained passionate about the causes she cared about. Beyond her acting career, Amanda Blake was a devoted animal rights activist. She played a key role in starting several animal welfare organizations, many of which continue to make a remarkable impact today. Her story reminds us that behind Hollywood's sparkle and glamour, there can be untold struggles and quiet acts of courage. Did you know that Amanda Blake's dedication to animals left a legacy that continues to inspire generations?